Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes, and welcome to Books of the Month. We're so glad that you could join us for another exciting edition of the Books of the Month. And we have a very, very special guest with us. Miss Diana, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to have you with us. Do this for us. Introduce yourself to our viewing audience and tell them about who you are.
So I'm a grandma, and I'm also a Jewish educator. I've worked with teachers and children and students for a lot of years, and in that context, we talked about Bible. We taught Bible. And I developed a Hebrew reading curriculum for beginners, and that was what I had spent quite a bit of time on. And today I'm very excited to talk about the time I spend with my grandkids and the fact that this little story just came from a conversation with my daughter about her son when he was about 2 years old.
Yes, it's fascinating. I was looking here. It says the starting point of this little story was a conversation with my daughter, Lily. Her son was no longer sleeping in a crib and was getting used to a junior bed. He went through a period of waking up very early, around 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, wow, we can relate to that. And then you say, coming to his parents' bedroom, needless to say, she was tired and annoyed with the whole situation. And that's how the conversation with your daughter, give us some insights into that in this powerful book and how you navigated this journey.
Right. Well, this went on for a long time. I mean, he to this day is an early riser. He's 9 years old today, but he would wake up very early. You can't put a 2-year-old on an iPad or something of that sort. and so she really was, exhausted. At the same time, he was no longer in a crib. And I think parents are always dealing with that transition from a crib to the point where a child's really outgrown it.
Yes.
They're climbing out of a crib and it's not safe. And so he would wake up and he would go and, visit with his mom and his dad in their bedroom. And she was tired. She was not happy. And so the book really, as it's written, was the conversation that we had. I was saying, maybe you need to explain this to him like this,
Yes.
And so this little bear really captures, Milan, that's his name, when he was little, and this whole quandary of, a child waking up and what does he do? And does he go in the house and what's going to happen? And so in this case, this little bear is very special because he sees his parents are sleeping and he goes back to his room and he gets back into his bed. He sees that his toys are all still sleeping. The little toys in the book are kind of important characters.
Yes.
His ball is still sleeping. The lion is still sleeping. The train is still sleeping. Even the sun is still sleeping. So he has the wisdom to get back into his bed and go to sleep. And from there, the story goes to an outdoor scene where he's full of energy and the parents are so happy with him and they're at a park and so on. And Lily, my daughter's co-author, she's the mother, added a very nice little piece. And it's a little chart at the end because the bear says, I slept the whole night in my own bed. I mean, this is fantastic.
Yes.
So this little chart is Sunday, the full week, full 7 days. And the idea is the child can put a little star on this chart to recognize what he's done.
Very creative, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a little teaching moment at the end of the book, but it's been wonderful to look at the whole topic of little ones sleeping, parents who need sleep,
Yes.
and how can you help them recognize they need to stay in bed and make them feel good about
You
it.
know, and you did such an eloquent job of writing it, disseminating that information on a level where a child could understand it, and the title of the book, Everyone is Asleep But Me.
Right.
And so it just conveys the actual reality of the life that we're living, that your daughter was living, and your
Right.
son-in-law. But
Right.
then here's this child, he doesn't know the difference. So he's going to a place of familiarity. I'm going in there where dad and mama is.
Right.
And so that's a journey that many parents, if not all parents, have experienced with
Yes.
their young ones.
Yes. Yes.
What's been so once you wrote this book, and I'm sure people are reading it, I'm sure it's helping some people. What type of responses have you gotten back from the book?
We've gotten really some lovely responses on kind of like on several levels. One was just about the artwork. I mean, I can't say enough about the artist, Philip Woolrab, who created this evocative little character within this nighttime scene, but it wasn't dark. It's kind of purpley. And you see all the details of his bedroom and the hallway, and his artwork makes this, you think you're looking and relating to this little bear.
Yes.
So that's brought a lot of very positive reaction. And children, I have a lovely picture of my two grandsons. One is older, one was younger. The younger one was maybe, I don't know, under 2 or around 2. And he's being read the book and he totally gets it. That's what's so interesting. Very young children totally relate and totally understand what's going on there. And parents are very appreciative of having their their difficulty acknowledged. It's real.
Yes.
So there's been very nice reaction on both sides.
And then the book gives the solution to resolving that issue.
Yes.
It gives you, when you can make it creative. And then by reading the book, reading the story it's a good bedtime story.
Right. It's totally a bedtime story. Totally a bedtime.
Yes. So now tell me, how has your grandson responded to it? And does he know that the book is written about him?
He does. Yes, he totally does. And not to leave out my other grandchildren, in a different paragraph on the book, it says that it was inspired by Milan,
Yes.
but it's also with the thought of my other grandkids in mind, Maya and Eris and Ethan and Lenny Mae, who are all great sleepers now.
Yes. Learning from the story that was written about either their brother or their cousin.
Right, exactly.
That is a fascinating, a teachable moment and a learning experience.
Yes.
So how do you get requests to come and do, because you can have children around and they can sit and you can read the book to them and they can get excited. Anything like that happening for you?
That's lovely. It hasn't really happened. But, I've just gotten these wonderful reviews. Let's say on Amazon, there's a few where the parent or the grandparent who bought the book is really describing how the children like it a lot and like to be read that story.
I saw some of those.
So, to take it to a different place would be also nice. Would be also very nice.
From teaching people how to read Hebrew to coming to writing this book that's relating to children, that transition, how challenging was that transition for you?
Well, that's a wonderful question, because it wasn't challenging from the standpoint that this was a totally spontaneous conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned. I didn't go, there was no thought, remote thought of producing a children's book. But somehow the message was very simple and clean. And a friend who had a graphics company, saw the text and he said, we have to sketch this out.
Oh.
And then he showed me the sketches. He said, we have to add color. So it kind of took on its own life. I would say the connection was that it's the same impulse, the educator's impulse of working with children. I'm more effective with young children. And so it was actually a direct connect, different content, but it was very much where I'm comfortable.
Yes, and I'm listening to you. So basically what you've done, as you stated here, you just took the conversation and put it on paper.
That's right. That's
right.
right.
Yes. You said, I wrote it down, send it to her. Speaking about the conversation, you wrote it down, send it to your daughter. Right. Once I shared the story with friends, then it says here, the pictures were inevitable.
Right.
And that is so powerful. Everyone is asleep but me. It's dedicated to your grandchildren, and you give all of their names here. And then you say here, to this day, they're all good sleepers.
Right. Thank God. They're all good sleepers. Although Milan is still an early riser, 6:30, but he's a big boy now. So.
And he's going to get up.
Yeah.
What would be some lessons learned that you would share with some parents?
Oh, that's nice. Well, first of all, that the sleeping is absolutely a challenge, and how to train them, how to, encourage that transition from a crib to a bed. Wow. I would say to parents, I would basically say, because with a 2-year-old, you can't give much advice, but just not to give up and just, read to them at night and have them come to your bed if you're comfortable with it. Otherwise, take them back to their own bed, make their own bed a very special environment. And I would say, the whole bedtime routine.
We have 1 minute remaining. Take 30 seconds and give your information, how people can contact you, an email, website, anything like that. 30 seconds.
Right. Okay, excellent. So by email, they can contact me at DYACOBI51 which is an email. Okay. And the book is on Amazon. I welcome emails and questions, and website I have for Read Hebrew Now.
Excellent, excellent. We want to thank you so much for being a very special guest. We want to thank you all for viewing in, for watching us. Diana, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for the honor, for the pleasure of joining you.
Our pleasure. I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. Thank you for joining us for Books of the Month. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Same here.